Hello students, we were discussing the first chapter of biology of 9th class, that is the cell, the fundamental unit of life. If we study a cell under microscope, we would come across three features in almost all type of cells, that are plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm of the cell. All the activities and interactions inside the cell and outside the cells are possible because of these features. So today we will discuss plasma membrane. Plasma membrane, that is the outermost layer of the cell. Plasma membrane, in short we can also say it plasma membrane. Suppose if this is the outermost layer, inside this is nucleus and this is the fluid part of the cell. This is the outermost layer called plasma membrane. This is the nucleus. Central part of the cell is called nucleus, and the liquid part present between the plasma membrane and nucleus is called cytoplasm of the cell. So today we have to read plasma membrane, that is the outermost layer of the cell. Outermost cover of the cell is plasma membrane. It is found in both plant cell and animal cell. Only the difference is that in plant cell it is covered by another layer called cell wall. In plant cell it is covered by cell wall found in both cells. Both type of cells it is present, found in both cells, that is plant cell and animal cell. Plasma membrane is found in both type of cells, that is plant cell and animal cell. Only the difference is that plasma membrane in plant cells are covered by another layer called cell wall. So our next point is the structure of plasma membrane. Structure of plasma membrane is made of phospholipid plus proteins. Because of the presence of phospholipids and proteins, its outermost layer is also flexible in nature. So this is the outermost layer, plasma membrane, and it is made up of phospholipids and proteins. This plasma membrane separates this cytoplasm or cell contents from its outer environment. Plasma membrane protects the cell contents from the outer environment. This plasma membrane cannot be separated from the cytoplasm. Plasma membrane cannot be separated from the cytoplasm. Also, this is plasma membrane is also called selectively permeable membrane. Plasma membrane just behaves like a gate of the house. It decides that which material will enter into the cell and which material will not enter into the cell. Only plasma membrane will select this. This is because of this plasma membrane is called as selectively permeable membrane. Also, this plasma membrane are called cell or unit membrane. Cell or unit membrane. Also, plasma membrane are called as cell membrane or unit membranes. So, this is selectively permeable membrane. The most important function of plasma membrane is to protect the cell from outer surrounding. Protects the cell from outer surrounding that are from heavy rainfall, outer surrounding means from heavy rainfall, sunlight, more radiations, chemicals, insects. It protects the cell from chemicals, insects, and so on. Also, because of its flexibility, it allows the food or molecules inside the cell. Plasma membrane is the selectively permeable membrane also, and its outer membrane is made up of phospholipid and proteins, so it makes the cover flexible, and because of this flexibility it allows food or molecules or gases or carbon dioxide to enter inside the cell. Next, our topic is how materials in the form of gases or water or other molecules or other food molecules, gaseous or water or food molecules enter into the cell. Enter in the cells. How the materials enter inside the plasma membrane? So, this is of two types. One is active transport, and the other is passive transport. In active transport, movement of materials takes place from the lower to the higher concentration of region. In active transport, movement of substances takes place from the lower to higher concentration of the region. Also, it requires energy. However, in passive transport, movement of substances takes place from the higher to lower concentration takes place, doesn't require energy. In active transport, we saw that the substances moves towards the from lower to higher concentration of the region, and it also requires energy, while in passive transport substances moves from higher to lower concentration and it doesn't require energy. Again, this active transport is of two types. One is endocytosis, and the other is exocytosis. Engulfing of food materials by the cells are called endocytosis. Engulfing of food materials by the cells are called endocytosis. Again, it is of three types: phagocytosis, pinocytosis, and the third one is receptor mediated endocytosis. Engulfing of food materials by the cells are called endocytosis, and it is of three types: phagocytosis, in which food materials are in the form of solid particles. So it is called phagocytosis. When the liquid contents are engulfed by the cell, it is called pinocytosis, and when the engulfing of food materials takes place with the help of a receptor, this is called, receptor is just a source or a medium for the engulfing of food. So this is called receptor mediated endocytosis. Now exocytosis is the removal of waste material by the cells. An example of endocytosis is amoeba. Amoeba takes their food by the endocytosis process. So let's move towards the passive transport, in which we saw the movement of substances takes place from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. Now this passive transport is again of two types. One is diffusion and other is osmosis. So remember that diffusion is the spontaneous movement of substances, and that substances is in the form of gaseous molecules. Gaseous molecules are, movement of gaseous molecules takes place from higher concentration to lower concentration, higher to lower concentration. And also the example of diffusion is transpiration. In which transpiration is the process in which conversion of water into water vapor takes place, and movement of this water vapor from the aerial parts of the plant to the surrounding is called transpiration. Here plants loses surrounding if the concentration of the water vapor is increased, water vapor becomes increased, concentration of water vapor become increased more, then it will move towards surrounding where it was low. When the concentration of water vapor becomes high in the plants, it will move towards the surrounding where there is low concentration of water vapor. Similarly, another example of diffusion is exchange of respiratory gases in human beings. Exchange of respiratory gases in human beings. Suppose this is our body and this is surrounding. and this is surrounding. During cellular respiration, our body produces CO2 as a metabolic waste. So in our body, high concentration of CO2 becomes as a result of cellular respiration, by which there is a high concentration of CO2 occurs in our body. So it will move towards the surrounding where there is the low concentration of CO2. Similarly, at that time, the concentration of oxygen is also low in our body. So definitely from surrounding where the concentration of oxygen is high, it will move from high to in surrounding concentration of oxygen is high. Concentration of oxygen is high in the surroundings, so it will move in the body where the concentration of oxygen is low. Concentration of oxygen is low. So this is the another example of diffusion process, that is exchange of respiratory gases, that is CO2 and oxygen in human beings. Now we will move towards osmosis process. In diffusion, movement of gaseous molecules takes place, while in osmosis, movement of water molecules takes place. Osmosis is the process in which water molecules moves from higher to lower, higher concentration to lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Is called osmosis. Osmosis is the process in which movement of water molecules takes place from higher concentration to lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. So since it is the movement of water molecules depending upon the concentration of solution, it is of three types. On the basis of solution, it is of three types: hypotonic solution, second is hypertonic solution, and the third one is isotonic solution. So as the name suggests, this hypo means low solute, and tonic is the solvent here. Here the solvent is more. It gives to the dilute solution. Hypotonic means here solute is low and solvent is high. This gives dilute solution. If suppose in a container, if we keep a dried resin in high water concentration region, what will happen? If we keep a dried resin inside the diluted solution? This dried resin, water moves into the dried resin because of osmosis process, and because of this this resin swells up. Water moves from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. Similarly, in hypertonic solution, here hyper means more solute. When solute is more and low solvent gives rise to concentrated solution. Concentrated solution means here the solute is more, here water is very less. So it makes the solution concentrated. Now what will happen when we keep a swollen resin inside such medium, that is in very concentrated solution? What will happen? If we keep a swollen resin inside the concentrated solution, definitely this water will move from the higher to lower medium. So this resin becomes shrinkage of resin takes place here because of the loss of water. In this surrounding water was less, so this water moves from the higher. Water inside this resin or cell is high than the surrounding, so it will move from higher to lower concentration, and what will the result becomes? The resin shrinks up. So this process, swelling up of resin, is called endosmosis. While the here the cell shrinks up and movement from cells to surrounding takes place, so it is called the exosmosis. And also this is called plasmolysis. Now this isotonic solution, isotonic as the name suggests, same or equal. If the solute and solvent both remains constant, there will be no movement of any material take place. So if we kept any cell inside this hypotonic solution, it swells up because of the osmosis process, while in hypertonic solution it shrinks up because of the concentrated solution, and in isotonic solution there will be no change. So this is all about plasma membrane. Thank you.